Okay, I'm Mog Morgan, Knight of Shambhala and Companion of Set, which is the usual way I introduce myself when I'm doing the Egyptian Magic podcast. But today we're doing a short 20-minute introduction to the topic of Tankhem. But before I do that, I'll pass you over to my partner, Diti, who's going to just introduce yourself if you could, Diti.
I'll try. Hi, I'm Diti Morgan, and I'm an author and a publisher, and I'm a Morgan witch. And my background is coming from aromatherapy and perfumery, and which probably explained the title of my book, Aroma Magic. And today we're gonna try to explain what Tankhem is and how the system is working in a magical way in our life and as a magical system in general, basically. So what is Tankhem?
What is Tankhem indeed? Okay, so I should say about 20 years ago now that the book Tankhem, which we'll show on the screen, was kind of first published in 2003. Tankhem, simply put, is a combination of two words, Tan from Tantra and Khem from Kemetic. So it's a combination of two different mythologies and systems, one from Egypt, which is the Kemetic thing, and the other, the Tantric tradition of India, which we have experience in both of those now. And the idea is a kind of bridge or a tradition that that explores the common ground that definitely existed in ancient magic, and it definitely exists now between both systems, which is rather surprisingly. In a nutshell, and kind of rapidly, the first book, and there have been several other books that have followed up in more detail on this, plus lots of unpublished material. I started the book with an introduction to what Egyptian magic was, from my point of view at the time, especially the Temple of Set and the Setian tradition. The Temple of Set, as in the Egyptian tradition, not the modern sect, if you like, although they might well be related. But I was taking it from an ancient tradition, so rooting the magic of Egypt within the cult of the god Set, which was rather unusual. So that followed on from that to an idea of Satanism. So people talked a lot about Satanism, and they often accused various people, including Aleister Crowley, of being Satanists, and other people went to great pains to deny that connection. But if you change one of the letters and make it Satanism and look at the role of this hidden god of Set as a kind of underground thread within the work of a lot of different magicians, especially within Crowley and all the rest. So that was part of the idea of the second chapter and sort of getting into the tradition. The third chapter in the Tankhem book was actually called Tankhem. And in this, I kind of explored another temple in Egypt, the Temple of Osiris, using somebody else's detailed accounts of the kind of mysteries of the temple itself, which is one of the important techniques of Tankhem as well, but bringing out the kind of connection or the overlap between the mythology found within the Temple of Osiris and a lot of Indian mythology. So much so that it looked as if there was a kind of some sort of international idea or international ideology of magic in existence in the ancient world. And that's what I was trying to argue and lay out as a kind of direction into this. And the fourth chapter, there were several others, looked at the subject of sexual magic, which of course is very associated with Tantra. And actually, as we discovered, the Egyptian tradition also is very earthy and very sexual. It abounds in all sorts of sexual and kind of physical associations. And then, fifthly, I suppose we emphasized, or the book emphasized, the importance of the lunar mysteries, and especially the lunar cycle of whatever it's 28 days or 30 days, depending on what tradition that you're looking at, and how the magic of the lunar days was also very connected with all of the things that had been mentioned so far. So that, in a nutshell, was the prospectus of the tantric tradition. And then DT came along with her own unique insight into all that, and the method of expanding it and taking it forward. So perhaps you could tell us a little bit about your side of things.
Yeah, I think I took the Tankhem. I took more, like you explore more the Egyptian side of the magical Egyptian side of things. I kind of connected more to the tantric maybe way of, especially to the color system, which is the system of the 30 lunar divinities, if you like, within the tantric tradition, which I came across actually in maybe first time at Kenneth Grant's right, and he called them, if I remember correctly, phrased them as a lunar flowers or lunar essences. And when I read this, my kind of instinct as an aromatherapy and perfumer kind of kicked in, and I said, yeah, I can connect to the lunar cycles through essences, through scents, and we start working with it. If I remember correctly, the color was our first project as a magical partner and as partners in life. And we're still working and learning about them, and it's basically it's we all kind of when we think about lunar magic, we all kind of immediately think, yeah, of course, the full moon, then the new moon, then there's the waxing moon, then there's the waning moon. But what about the rest of the days? Somehow this seems to kind of not been answered to in most systems that I'm familiar with, till I came across the color. And the color represents the energy of the moon on each specific night, I would say, because the moon is it's a night kind of aspect, and the tantric maybe have exploring into the darker side, if you like, the shadowy, the lunar magic, something that is a bit more mysterious and deep, maybe. I don't know what's the right word at the moment, can't think of it. But so each day we have a specific color that's called maybe it's easier to relate to the color as like I said, divinities or spirits of the moon, or maybe even fairies of the moon. So each one of them have a specific description. They have what they look like, what they smell like, what the energy like, what they signify. So when we actually start working with the colors, which is there's 2 cycles of them. There's 15 days of the waxing moon, of the light colors, if you like, or Shakti color, Shakti cycle, as I call it, which start on the new moon till the full moon. And then another cycle of 15 colors start from the waxing moon till the new moon. And each one of them, every night, it's presenting us with a specific energy of the rhythm of the moon. They're all kind of similar, but not quite, because every day, if you think about the new moon, we don't really see it yet, and then slightly the moon starts appearing in the sky, and then we can see half a moon, and then a bit more, and it gets bigger and bigger, and then there's a full moon. And each night, if you start thinking thinking and connect to each color by a name to start, then by her scent, then by her body. They all govern different body parts. It's you go into a journey into the cycle of the moon movement and the moon rhythm. And more you get to know the colors, more you get tuned and fine tuning your own kind of cyclic lunar rhythms that we all are connected to. We all say we are influenced by the moon, but it's not just the full moon that influences us. Sometimes, a few days after the moon, you'll be, if you might not be aware, but the some color will be so, her energy will be so strong, and if you connect to her, or maybe she just appear in your life without you even knowing, something happened that tried to kind of signal to you something. And then when you do know this, when you are familiar with this type of energy, then you can start understand, or maybe even analyze is a big word, but maybe you start to connect and understand and go deeper and forward to what it actually means and why it happens specifically on that day or that night of the lunar cycle. And as I said, we're doing this for a few years now, and the more I learn and research about them, it's it's a never-ending journey. You keep finding more and more and more stuff. It's like going through it's like a cycle that you just going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and more stuff comes up and more understanding and more. And you find yourself really more, I suppose you get more at one with the rhythm of the moon, with the rhythm of this planet, or with the rhythm of yourself. You sort of, I don't know how to explain it, like, you're sort of balancing yourself to a certain natural rhythm.
Maybe it's like resonance.
Resonate yourself with the, yeah, that's true. You resonate with the moon rhythm, and then it's sort of, you become one. You understand. It gets too complicated.
No, that's really good. That's really good. That's a good opening gambit, as it were.
I think best way is that we'll explore together in the future in our next episode each color or few colors at the same time, and then we take you on the journey of this lunar cycle. And it's not just for 1 month. Once you started, it's forever basically, because the moon is always there every night. The cycle never stops.
The cycle never stops.
Never stops,
Yeah.
So
we're going to explore that in more detail in other recordings. I mean, the thing that I can't help but comment upon is that idea of the kind of lunar days and the relationship between the moon and the parts of the body, that there is a direct equivalent of that within the Egyptian tradition as well, with the thing that we now call the lunar blessing, in which certain a whole sequence of deities are installed or called into different parts of the body in a certain sequence in order from the head down. Sometimes we use it in their particular names, and sometimes we kind of use the most important of them, which might be Hathor. But whichever way you look at it, that cycle of lunar days of deities installed in parts of the body over the cycle, that's an Egyptian. I mean, I was quite surprised in a way, and pleasantly surprised to have found that there was this kind of direct equivalent to the sort of things that you were talking about in the Egyptian tradition that exist within the Hindu esoteric Hindu tantric tradition as well. So this is going to be very, very interesting to explore in future episodes in a lot more detail.
I can say in a couple of words about 2 days ago there was a new moon. New moon is represented by the color Kameshvari. She brings the first light, maybe even if we don't see it yet. She symbolized the first light, the first seed of light to come. Now, this new moon, we open up in the Egyptian month of the god Ra, the sun. He is the lightest of the light, the biggest light ever, and it's always there. So they both kind of, this is like the tongue and the cam kind of come up together on this on this kind of amazing, significant, very significant month. We have the summer, the solstice soon, and that you can see that these two systems work really, really well together.
They do.
So yeah, that's our Tankhem.
Okay, so that's out by way of our kind of opening introduction to the system. We'll be back in the next recording to go into more details of some of the things that DT was talking about. And so until then, go wise, as they say, and send it to you.